Late last year, two Pakistani teenagers were killed by electric shocks for engaging in a relationship that was dishonoring to the family. The year before that, a Pakistani man killed his sister for engaging in a relationship with a Christian man, even though the Christian had converted to Islam to facilitate the relationship. Though it is difficult, since honor killings are kept largely under the radar, the UN estimates about 5,000 honor killings occur per year, and in Europe, for example, according to the Middle Eastern Forum, 97% of the honor killings are by Muslims. And this is moving even farther west. A particularly shocking example was in Ontario in 2015 when Mohammed Shafia killed his 3 daughters for shaming the family when they became involved in romantic relationships not authorized in Islamic law. The father said he would kill his 3 daughters again, even if they came back to life 100 times. A typical popular level defense of Islam on this issue goes as follows. Where does the idea of honor killing come from in the Muslim world? Unfortunately, it is one of the ugly elements of pre-Islamic Arabian culture that continues to reassert itself, despite the Prophet's efforts to eradicate the practice. Consistent with articles one reads in popular media that frequently give Islamic apologists a voice, the author does not cite a single Islamic text to substantiate his claim. The killers routinely invoke Islam to justify their honor killings, but rarely can they cite anything other than their belief that Islam doesn't allow the mixing of sexes, according to the Associated Press. It is supremely ironic that journalists criticize honor killers for not citing specific texts or beliefs to defend their murderous actions, when the journalists themselves are guilty of appealing to anecdotal evidence to show Islam does not approve of honor killings. But I'm quite willing to fill in the gaps and demonstrate from the earliest, most authoritative sources of Islam that honor killing is prescribed in Islamic law. First, women and children are most often victims of honor killings, and Muhammad did say not to kill women and children. The Messenger of Allah denounced the killing of women and children in Sahih Muslim 45-47. However, a systematized study of the available data indicates this is a general prohibition, not absolute. There are exceptions. For example, Muhammad liked to take villages by surprise, raiding them at night. In the cover of darkness, it was inevitable that women and children would be mistaken for combatants and killed. The Prophet was asked whether it was permissible to attack the pagan warriors at night with the probability of exposing their women and children to danger. The Prophet replied, "They are from them." So the killing of women and children was a general prohibition, not absolute. Further, there's a very interesting qualification in these narrations that points us back to the supreme authority in Islam, the Quran itself. The Messenger of Allah said, "Do not kill them," women and children, "so do not kill them, unless you know about them what the companion of Musa knew about the boy whom he killed." What is this hadith referring to? In Surah 18 of the Quran, Musa seeks out a man with great knowledge. The man is named Al-Khidr. These two embark on a journey during which Musa has some of Al-Khidr's knowledge imparted to him. Al-Khidr does several seemingly inexplicable things which cause Musa to object. One of them goes as follows. So they went. When they met a young boy, Al-Khidr killed him. Musa said, "Why did you kill such an innocent soul? Who did not kill another soul? You have committed something horrendous." Ibn Kathir elaborates, Al-Khidr saw a boy playing with other boys. Al-Khidr took hold of the boy's head and pulled it off with his hands, killing him. Now, why was this boy killed? Was Musa correct to object to the wiser Al-Khidr's actions? Al-Khidr explains, "As for the boy, his parents were good believers, and we saw that he was going to burden them with his transgression and disbelief. We willed that your Lord substitute in his place another son, one who is better in righteousness and kindness." Surah 18, 80, and 81. Now the previously cited hadith makes sense. Do not kill women and children unless you know about them what the companion of Musa knew about the boy whom he killed. That is, if the child is feared to cause trouble with his believing parents, as in Surah 18, then it is incumbent to kill that child so that Allah can substitute a better one in place of it. In mutually complementary accounts, then, honor killings can be traced from the hadith to the Quran and back. Now, let's review something from the grotesque case of the previously mentioned father who killed his 3 daughters. This is very important. They, that is the deceased daughters, were treacherous. "When I tell you to be patient, you tell me that it is hard," he said to one of his wives. Now, what does patience have to do with any of this? What was the murderous father talking about? In the Quran, when Moses objected to Al-Khidr's honor killing of the boy, Al-Khidr cited the often repeated concept of patience throughout this narrative. In Surah 18. It's in ayah 67, 68, 69, 72, etc. Patience is mentioned over and over. And after Al-Khidr's killing of the boy, he says to a disconcerted Musa, "Did I not tell you that you can have no patience with me?" Now we see why Muhammad Shafi'a mentioned patience to one of his wives in connection with honor killings. He finds an example in the wise Al-Khidr in Surah 18 of the Quran. Thus, one can easily find justification for honor killing in the Islamic sources, contrary to predictably inadequate defenses of Islam given by many Western journalists and apologists. Additionally, it is particularly horrific that the echoes of Surah 18 seem to resound in the mind of one of the most disturbing honor killers in recent times. If this isn't an ironclad case for honor killing, there's more. Muhammad said that it is not permissible to kill a Muslim except in 3 cases. One of those cases is if he abandons his religion and the Muslim community. Anyone familiar with the Hadith knows that the definition of abandoning one's religion is extremely elastic. Citing this Hadith and others, the Shufihi Manual of Islamic Jurisprudence states, the following are not subject to retaliation: killing an apostate from Islam, a father or mother for killing their offspring. As a side note, in my research, I can find 0 evidence of disagreement among the 4 major schools of Sunni Islamic jurisprudence on this issue. I conclude then that honor killings are entirely supported in the Islamic texts and are further codified in Sharia law. In my view, there's another element which makes this even worse. Muhammad, championed by Muslims as a vanguard of human rights in 7th century Arabia, was simply going along with cultural norms in this case. As Dr. Sania Hamidi, an expert in Arab psychology, notes, there are 3 basic fundamentals of Arab society: shame, honor, and revenge. Revenge is ubiquitous throughout the Quran and Hadith, but it is shame and honor that we're concerned with here. This is the impetus behind honor killings. In nearly every account one reads, the concept of shame as a motive for murder is stated implicitly, if not explicitly, as it was in each case I cited at the beginning of this video. This is the function of honor killings, to expunge the source of the shame and restore honor to the family. Muhammad in the Hadith and Allah in the Quran were seemingly incapable of autonomous thought, incapable of rising above the gruesome, morally reprehensible cultural psychology and sociological norms of the time, and these norms became encoded in Islamic law with lethal consequences for centuries to come.